Well, hello everyone. How are we all? Good morning. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about, huh? But first, hi. Hello to Norman. Your calendar reminded you on time, which, what a blessing when technology actually works. On those 3 or 4 occasions in our lives when technology actually works. Let's see if I can get this camera positioned a little better. Oh dear, I'm sorry. This is going to be very intimate for a moment. There we go. How's that? Is that seems a little better. Yeah, that seems better. Okay. Still getting some of the setup configured here. I'm also, let's see if we can make this light a little bit warmer. That's cooler. There, how's that? Is that better? Anyway, as you can see, live streaming setup has changed a little bit. Trying to get some more color going on, trying to get a little bit more visual interest, and as you can see in the background, a little bit more mess. There's a table behind me. It's very dim, but it's dark back there. But the stuff behind me is going to, some of it is a component of some videos that you're going to see coming up soon. Anyway, hi to Norman. I'm glad that your calendar reminded you. Dave, hello. Feel like I missed last week. Well, we didn't actually, I was going to do a live stream last week, but then I wound up putting out a video unexpectedly. So it was a surprise to me. But I had more that I wanted to say after my video about the show Roseanne, and so I had a little, additional research that just didn't fit into that video. So it's like, I'm just going to do a whole second video to piggyback off of that one. And now I'm working on another that'll be out in the next few days. So we will talk about that. Rezel is here. So good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope your D&D group has been doing good adventure. I've been reading a book that feels like D&D. I bring this up because Rezel's in a Dungeons & Dragons group. I'm reading this group that feels like a D&D adventure that I want to talk about called The Dragonbone Chair. This is not a new book. It was published in the 80s, but I'm just swooning for this novel. I love it. I think a lot of you would like it, including, I see in the chat, Colin over there. Hello, good to see you. I think you would like this. It's a very nerdy fantasy book that I think is up your alley. Anyway, Pika is here. Hello, Pika23. Tom Jenkins, always lovely to see you as well. Caspian, great to see you. I've been busy the last few streams and missed them. Well, you are here for this one, Caspian. Prince Caspian, we will call you. Hugh says, hey. Rezel, hopefully all is going back, even though second lockdown forced us to meet with my friends early. At least now I can get on stream. Yeah, boy, oh boy. You don't need to tell me that quarantine and lockdown has made Dungeons & Dragons a little difficult. Anyway, Oh Damn Cam says, woke up with perfect timing. Well, good morning to you. Good morning to Bumble Homestead. Thank you for the chat tip. I forget what those are called. What are they called? Not tips. What are they called? Stream shouts? I don't know. You gave me a rainbow. I love it. James Polk says, hello, everyone, with a little sparkle. We love to see it. Vitor Gomes says, I thought it said Vitor Games, and I was like, does Vitor game? Vitor Gomes says, hey there, hello. Hello to Colin Marcus Jackson. Hello to Sylvia Rusty Recommends. Shyly waves hi. I shyly wave hello to you. So happy watching from Barcelona, says Jose Love Live. Hello and welcome. Yeah, Rezel says I have romantic lighting going on. What do we think of these colors? I've got a pink and a blue. You know, we call it the moody bisexual lighting. But one of the things that I've set up is that I can change the color to whatever I want. So I can make it more of a boudoir sort of look. That's not a boudoir, like that blue and red. Good Lord. Looks like an ambulance is coming for me. There. Okay, no, not this. Not this. It looks like I'm in a volcano. I'm going to meet the Gnome King. What if we... No, this is getting worse. It looks like I'm on fire. Green is not going to work. We're not doing like a Wicked tribute here. This, I feel like the orange is a problem now. Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly what colors. Well, how about this? Now it kind of looks like I'm in an aquarium. I don't hate this. I don't hate like aquarium lighting. The red was not good. The red was not good. You look like you're lighting trans pride colors to Sylvia. Yes. Revel says monetary hardships. Oh, force him to sell his library. Oh no. Oh gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, life is very unpredictable right now. One does what they must. The hardships are here, but we will be beyond them eventually. Hard to know when, but you know, I feel like right now the world is not so much like light at the end of the tunnel, like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, as Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote in the musical Starlight Express. Good popular cultural reference there. Not so much, we're not so much looking for a light at the end of the tunnel as like a surprise trap door that will drop us into better times. Like, I feel like the bottom is just going to drop out and we're going to be falling for a moment, and then we're going to land. We're going to be like, oh, I landed a nice soft pile of leaves, and I don't know, there's like friendly raccoons all around me. Does that metaphor make sense? I don't think it does. What I'm trying to say is we're traversing a long, dark path, and there will be a secret passageway that leads us someplace better when we least expect it. How about that? How about that? I feel like that works a little bit better. Redneck Lover says, have you started watching One Day at a Time on Netflix? So here's the thing. I've started at the very beginning. I've started watching One Day at a Time, the original series, the one from the late 70s, or was it early 80s? I want to say late 70s. So, yeah, so I gotta say, that is a great theme song. That's as far as I've gotten so far. I've gotten so far as the theme song on the original One Day at a Time from like 1981. All right. Hey, Siri, when was One Day at a Time? She is not going to know what to do with that question. It happened from December 16th, 1975 to May 28th, 1984. She did. She knew what to do. 1975 to 1984 was the original run. I don't think the original series was very queer. The original One Day at a Time. The new one, yes, very much. Who's on that one? Is that Rita Moreno? Am I wrong about that? I feel like there's somebody... I feel like the new One Day at a Time has a great cast. But I'm not there yet. Redneck says, it has a gay team character, Elena, along with their non-binary girlfriend, Sid. Oh, that's so great. Vitor says, I've been binge watching your videos all week, so you're great. Can I be petty and ask for a happy birthday? Of course, happy birthday to Vitor. Happy birthday. I have a friend who plays D&D with a fox named Vitor. It's a D, not a T, but still close. Anyway, happy birthday to Vitor the Fox and to Vitor Games. VJ says, oh, marathoning. That's a better way to say it, yes. VJ says, hello, how are you doing today? From India, hello to VJ. Glad you could join us. We have such an international group today. I'm so happy about it. Hooray. We're going to be talking about, so just to let you know, I want to talk about like the surprise video that I did last weekend, the one that I didn't expect to do. So I want to talk about some of the stuff that I put in that video. Also going to talk about the video I'm working on right now about, oh gosh, it's about a whole bunch of things. 1970s, Bob Newhart, homosexuality, not being a mental illness anymore, the American Psychological Association, gay history, all this stuff. I've got a lot to talk about. Also, doing some more live streams more regularly during the week I'm looking at updating my live stream schedule so that it's much more frequent every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Not here on YouTube, but on Twitch. That's one reason for the colored lighting. Let's put it back. I like the moody bisexual lighting best. I think. There we go. How's that? Oh, that's too moody. No, too many moods. We're having too many moods right now. Hold on, let me turn down that pink. That's too much pink. Oh. Yeah, part of my challenge here is just like that's okay. Getting the lighting levels just right because they keep changing. Because I only have one light, and so I have to. So sometimes I shoot videos over here on this computer, and sometimes I move over to that table that's behind me, and I shoot videos at that table, and I move the light from here to here. And every time, look at it! Look at that makes the blue very pretty. Anyway, sometimes every time I move the light, my whole rig changes, and so I just need to get another light. They're like $30. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so lots to talk about in the video, including. Lots to talk about in this live stream, including live stream much more throughout the week over on Twitch. Caspian says, the joy I get when people call me Prince Caspian is probably disproportionate to the comment. He's who I name myself after. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's lovely. Good. I like that very much. Jose says, blue and red looks very Suspiria. Ooh, it's very sus, as they say. That's what the kids say right now, right? Things are sus. So I've been seeing people, like, probably because Among Us is so popular right now, people, like, using sus in all kinds of different contexts. And I like that sus is, like, a very Lisp-friendly word, I guess, or unfriendly, depending on how you feel about Lisps. I like them. So if you have very gay affect, which is to say the absence of heterosexual affect, sus is a word that really hits those S's. I love a good Lispy S. Redneck Lover says you're on fire. They have a cream for that. Oh, R2, you're on fire. That is another timely reference. Oh my goodness. In the 1980s, probably about 3% of you are old enough to remember this. In the early 80s, there was a PSA on television for children reminding us not to smoke, because I guess that was an issue, 7-year-old smoking, where R2-D2 and C-3PO would... What was it? R2 was smoking a cigarette? It sounds like I'm making it up. R2 was smoking a cigarette, and 3PO goes, R2, you're on fire. And he, boo, boo, boo. And he goes, well, I don't think it makes you look grown up at all. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, but you're on fire. David Abercrombie says, red light in the window does have certain connotations. Yeah, I spent some time very little time, in Amsterdam's red light district a couple of years ago. Had a friend who runs a bathhouse there. So yeah, I wandered through that whole neighborhood with the people dancing in red light windows. Oh, Sidekick says, my cat is making squeak sounds asleep. It keeps distracting me. Oh! Sorry, I didn't mean to squeal quite that excitedly. If you want to send me cat pictures, I always like to receive cat pictures. So you can tweet cat pictures at me, and I will always be happy about that. Oh, Rezel says, I see what you're saying. Monetary hardships, I meant jokey since I don't have a library behind me. Now I have real life behind me now. I have a shelf over here. It's so dark, you can't really see anything. I should have a better background. I have a shelf over here that does have some books on it, but it's too dark to see. It's where I've got all my gay reference books, except for this one. This one I always have in arm's reach. I highly recommend this book. It's by Stephen Capsuto. Alternate Channels, The Uncensored History of Gay and Lesbian Images on Radio and Television. They just put out a new, updated, revised edition. It's very, very good, and I use it constantly when I make my videos, because Stephen Capsuto has done, like, some amazing research. Okay, I need to change my lighting again, because I feel like it's changing the white... It is changing the white balance on me. I had it set to, like, auto white balance, and so it was trying to do all kinds of tricks. Tricked me. There we go. Okay, I think that's a little better. Smeared Black Ink says, I'm surprised that you're proper and well-spoken in your videos. Haha, love it. You know that meme that's been going around where it says, post videos or post pictures of people who of celebrities that people have told you look like. And the two that throughout my life I've been told that not so much look like but sound like are Frasier and John Hodgman, which, I mean, what great company to be in, right? Like, not so much Frasier anymore, but when I was in high school for sure, because it was me and my gay friend who I would hang out with. It's just the two of us, and people would tell us that we were Niles and Frasier all the time. I was Niles, he was Frasier, and more recently, it's been John Hodgman. I sound specifically like John Hodgman in the Mac versus PC commercials. So, okay, that's cool. I can be friends with Justin. What's his name? Justin Long? Is that his name? That actor who played the Mac? Anyway, hello from small town California, says Julian Asensio. Tell me if I'm saying that right. Jose says, as someone in Europe, I have to say, go hard on creative decisions. They do strong lighting choices. Okay, good. August says, do you have any 2020 album recommendations? I'm in love with What's Your Pleasure and Kylie Minogue's Disco. So I don't listen to a ton of like contemporary music. Obviously, like the Lady Gaga album that came out. Oh gosh, what was its name? Chromatica. I do like Chromatica a lot. Everyone's listened to that already, or all sick of that. Cats, the Cats soundtrack, definitely listen to that. It's not exactly 2020, but I feel like Cats exist outside of time. I mean, I will say, like, I listen to that album constantly. The soundtrack to Cats, constant rotation in our house. Redneck says, I watched a very short-lived sitcom, Some of My Best Friends Are, from 2001, starring Jason Bateman playing a gay character. Only lasted 7 episodes. It's worth a watch. I'll check that out. So, Some of My Best Friends Are has been used in many different gay contexts. In particular, it's funny you bring that up, actually, Redneck Lover. I'm working on a video right now, it'll be out in the next few days, about the Bob Newhart Show. It's a show from the 1970s where Bob Newhart, comedian, played a psychiatrist in Chicago. All the jokes are about his like wacky patients and their mental health issues. It's the lighter side of mental health. And his wife, Emily, played by Suzanne Pleshette, very wonderfully. Anyway, so that show had an episode entitled "Some of My Best Friends Are ... about, not entirely about, but clearly kind of about, the American Psychological Association delisting homosexuality as a mental illness. It happened only 2 years earlier, that the APA just decided, homosexuals are not mentally ill anymore, or at least not because they're homosexual. They're still many of us are still mentally ill, but it's just a little bit less than we were. So anyway, Bob Newhart Show did an episode about having a gay patient, a gay client, and what that means, because his other clients didn't like that there was a gay client in the group therapy setting. And so Bob had to deal with both his own internalized, I guess not internalized, but no, yeah, internalized homophobia. Not directed at himself, obviously, because his character, Bob Newhart's character, isn't gay, but the homophobia that he had internalized as a mental health professional over his whole life, and then also the homophobia expressed by his group therapy group. Anyway, so that's something I'm working on. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. But what a coincidence, that has the same name as that Jason Bateman show. Hello to Sparky McFly. Love from Vancouver, British Columbia. Hello to you. Is it snowing still? I heard that it was snowing earlier. Very jealous. We're only a few miles apart. A few. What are we, like 200 miles apart between Seattle and British Columbia? Hey Siri, how far is British Columbia from Seattle? Okay, 141 miles. Caspian says, my 50-year-old dad called me the other day, called you sus. Oh no, you're stealing biscuits. Well, I mean, I hope it was worth it. We do love biscuits. Konami says, the dreadlocks, and I love you. You give me hope. Oh my. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Who are the dreadlocks? Or are you talking about your own dreadlocks? Do you have loving dreadlocks on your head? James Polk said, I recall watching that droid PSA. Yul Brynner was the subject of an even more morbid one. Okay, here's the one. Here's the anti-smoking PSA to watch. I know I talk about Cats a lot, but it's the cast of Broadway's Cats. It's like 1989 or something, and they're doing a poem about not smoking, set to the one of the songs from the show. I don't know how to describe this, while they're crawling around on a giant ashtray. But the thing is the scale is all wrong. So the ashtray is like 5 times larger than the cats. And I'm like, how big? It's like a huge ashtray. How big do you think ashtrays are? Anyway, so I recommend the Cats anti-smoking PSA. Ty James says, "Do you agree Shelley Long is indeed funnier than Kirstie Alley?" Oh, I mean, no question, absolutely. That is an easy question. Shelley Long is hilarious, and Kirstie Alley needs to what I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this. Kirstie Alley. Honestly, I'm really challenged to find a nice thing to say about her work and her politics. Kirstie Alley is a person who exists in the world. I think that's as nice as I can be. Dave says, you remind me of Brad Jones, the cinema snob. Oh, yeah, people have actually compared me to him and also Vsauce. So, I mean, those are great. Those are great comparisons. Oh my goodness, Smear Black Ink says, what are the 3 movies you think every gay person should see at least once? I don't think those movies exist. I don't think there is any... I don't think the... I'm getting maybe a little pedantic here. I don't think there's any such thing as a must-see movie. I mean, there are movies that are like, oh, you gotta see this. It's great. I love it. I think you would love it. But I don't think there's such thing as a movie that every gay person has to see this movie. Because everyone needs to see something different. I mean, part of what makes art and media and culture so great is what it can do for us as people on a very personal level. And so the things that we receive from entertainment are always going to be very different and unique person to person. So usually when I'm recommending films, I'll ask somebody like, what movies do you like? Or what books or what games or what shows? What do you like? And then base my recommendations around that. That having been said, I think there are very few people who would not benefit from seeing Paris is Burning. I think the Rocky Horror Picture Show is beneficial at a certain time in a person's life when somebody is feeling like an outcast and seeking their clan. I feel like Rocky Horror Picture Show is beneficial. What else? What else comes close to must see? For some people, But I'm a Cheerleader is great. For others, it didn't do a lot for me, but I think But I'm a Cheerleader can be wonderful for people who are, especially people who are going through ex-gay abuse. What else? Latter Days. I didn't. I mean, I'm only recommending movies I don't like now. Latter Days I didn't love, but I think that's great for somebody who's going through a rethinking their relationship with the Mormon Church. What else? Hold on. I need to blow my nose. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, this is a difficult one. And I'm sorry if I do sound a little congested because it is an allergy day for me here in Seattle. Oh my goodness. I took an allergy pill right before I came on stream. I think it's going to take a while to kick in. We're getting into the time of the year where there's just mold on everything. Sorry to get gross. There's just the state flower of Washington is mold, and right now my mold allergies are just killing me. So I need to bring out an air freshener or an air purifier, and there's spores everywhere, clinging to everything. It's disgusting. Anyway, let's give this some more thought. Let's give this some more thought to must-see gay movies, because that's a tricky question. Konami says, who would you cast in a 2021 reboot of Golden Girls? That is a great question. So usually when I'm doing who would you cast in a modern version of something, I like to think of actors who are overlooked for other things. I mean, like Rita Moreno, like we were talking about earlier. What a great place to start. I'd love to see Rita Moreno in a reboot of Golden Girls. I'm not sure in which role. Dorothy? Right? Would Rita Moreno be a good Dorothy? I feel like she'd be a good Dorothy. And then who else? Who else would be good? She Here's the thing: is a lot of the actresses that I would enjoy are not quite old enough. That having been said, the actresses who are on the Golden Girls weren't really that old when they made it. Who else would I want to see in a remake? Octavia Spencer? How old is she? How old is Octavia Spencer? Hey Siri, how old is Octavia Spencer? 48. I feel like that's too young. But then again, She's not going to know how to answer this. Hey Siri, how old was B. Arthur in 1984? Yeah, so she was 86 when she died. So I feel like they were all like 50s and up. Yeah, Misplaced Stoic says Rita Moreno would be great as Dorothy or Rose. Rita Moreno's Dorothy, Cheetah Rivera. Oh, Cheetah Rivera Sophia. That's a great one. Courtney Kelly. That's a good one. I like that. So yeah. Oh, wait. I'm not gonna play what's her name. You're not gonna watch me sit here trying to remember people's names. I'm just gonna look them up. Where is she? Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett is Dorothy, right? Now I'm rethinking that. No, Angela Bassett is Dorothy. So anyway, what I'm saying is when I do like who'd you cast in a modern day version, I like to do like non-white actors, or just people who typically are passed over for general audience roles for dumb reasons. So I would love to see like an all people of color cast of a reboot of Golden Girls. Who else? I'm trying to think of like actresses of color who are of a certain age. Well, let's see. Let's just to see who Angela Bassett. If I just look her up, people also search for Forrest Whitaker. Okay, I don't know who he'd play, but I definitely want to see Forrest Whitaker on a reboot of The Golden Girls. He could be. Oh, he could be on the reboot of Empty Nest. How about that? Um, Courtney Kelly quietly stubs out cigarette. Should not be smoking. It's the cigarette companies. They take advantage of queer people. They know what they're doing. They market to queer people, and queer people are disproportionately affected by respiratory and heart disease caused by smoking. And the cigarette companies are coming for us. Don't give them satisfaction. Um, yeah, James says I don't like quantifying movies or anything really in an arbitrary list style. There's so many things that resonate and stick with me, and things that don't as much. Mm. Yeah. Oh gosh, Dave Abercrombie. Kids of the 80s were subject to PSAs called Charlie Says, The Thing of Nightmares. That cat. That cat. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Oh goodness. You gave me a little flashback to them, and my stars. Tom says maybe there should be a drag queen version of Golden Girls. Oh, well, I mean that exists. Like Heclina in San Francisco, or now I guess Heclina in Palm Springs does drag versions of Golden Girls every year. There was going to be. I feel like somebody was working on a gay male version of a reboot of Golden Girls set in Palm Springs, but that I don't think that went anywhere. Not like anything's going anywhere right now. Like everything's on hold. Julian says, thanks for the shout out. Most people always butcher my last name. I recently came out to some of my family members and want to tell you that it was because of your amazing concert. Oh, wait. Concert or content? Content, right? I don't, not that I know of, I have not done a concert, but maybe I should. But hooray, congratulations for coming out to your family members. That's so exciting. Yay. I hope they were mature about it. I hope they took it well. And if not, it's their problem, not yours. Sybarite says, B. Arthur was born in 22, so 62 in 84. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Octavia Spencer is just slightly too young. Um, Goodness gracious, I just realized how old is Tyra Banks? I feel like she might actually be getting up there. Tyra Banks' age. Because she would be such a good Rose. 46, yeah, okay. So she's not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. I feel like Tyra Banks would be an amazing Rose. Queen Latifah's Blanche. Oh my goodness. That's such a good idea. Oh, yes. How old is she? Queen Latifah age. She's 50. Okay, I think we could do a Queen Latifah Blanche. Here's the thing: is like she's so like knowing and wry on Living Single. Like I could see her being Dorothy. Like all these women I'm casting as Dorothy. So it's just a house full of Dorothys, which you can't have. You need the dynamic. You need to have different characters. You can't cast everyone as Dorothy. Mary J. Blige is 49. Missy Elliott. How old's Missy Elliott? Also 49. Okay, all these women are just like are too young. I mean, she looks fantastic, by the way. I gotta say, Missy Elliott looks amazing. Anyway, I see Angela Bassett more Blanche than Dorothy. I mean, here's the thing. She's so fantastic she could do any of them. Oh, the actress played B. Arthur's daughter on Maude, Adrienne something. I can picture her, but I don't know her in anything else. Kiflam says, who'd you cast the neighbors on Empty Nest? So I don't know Empty Nest well enough to recast that one. Yeah, I don't know that one well enough. To recast that one. That's tricky. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put up the be right back because there is, this is gonna sound crazy. There's a noise happening in the apartment that sounds suspicious. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on, everybody. Okay, that was James. James was trying not to make too much noise. Noise, and I was like, there's a 20% chance something happened. Which I didn't want to say anything, so I didn't want to like speak it. But I think there's like crackling noise that I think was actually water flowing, but it sounded like a little bit like a crackle in a fire. And I was like, actually something like that. On the other room. It's fine. It's James. He's gone right now. It's James woken up and he's. Oh goodness, James, who'd you cast in the modern day reboot of the Golden Girls? We've had some very good recordings. Actually, that's not bad. Kathleen Turner. I'm sorry, the music was very loud for a moment there. Okay.
I'm trying to think of people who were like, we don't see her anymore, and she's great.
Right? It's tough. Okay, so let me know if the music is still a problem, everybody. The music was very loud. Yeah. Handle must be heard. Is it still too loud? That's weird. It shouldn't be. Okay, the music is completely stopped. I don't know why it was still too loud because I had that audio turned all the way down. So I'll have to troubleshoot that at some point. Why that music did not shut up. But that's a weird one. Anyway, so James, some of the suggestions. Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett would be good.
She'd be good. Octavia Spencer, unfortunately, a little young. A little young for a Golden Girl. Who else do we have? Like Queen Latifah, also a little young.
A little on the edge. But
on the edge, but a little young. Yeah. Oh, Courtney says I would have loved Katherine Hellman or Georgia Engel. I don't know who Georgia Engel is.
Lucy Liu's the right age for Blanche.
Lucy Liu, that's a good one. She is, let's see, she's 51.
And Blanche, I think, was early 50s.
Okay. Yeah, I think the lag is actually pretty bad on this stream this time, and I don't know why. I'm going to check my streaming settings, because I have noticed that it is hanging way back. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'll check the stream settings. Check the stream settings after this one, because nothing should have changed. I don't know. Anyway, catching up. CogPP says, and thank you for the tip. I'd like to see you review UK TV. Oh, Russell T Davies, Queer as Folk, Cucumber and Banana. So I did the American Queer as Folk on a culture cruise years ago. And I don't think I've seen the British one since it was on. Yeah. Tell me what else I should see. Like Cucumber and Banana, I know people have recommended. People have said people have had good things to say about Cucumber Banana. How old's Claudia Black? She's 48. So all these actresses, all these great actresses, still just like on the edge. Felicia Rashad.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, Elizabeth, that is so good. Absolutely. Resident of the Fallen says Morgan Freeman in drag. Maybe. Okay, look up Loretta Devine. Who's Loretta Devine? Marla Hendricks on Boston Public. Adele Weber on Grey's Anatomy. All these shows. So she's on all these shows that I haven't seen. She was in Beverly Hills, Chihuahua. Waiting to Exhale. Everybody Hates Chris. What We Want, Kingdom Come. Crash, Women That Art Loosed. Class Act. Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in anything. All right, well, this is somebody that I need to know more about. How old's Kerry Washington? She's too young too, right? 43, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Alexei says, this is going to sound weird, but Dolly Parton is Sophia. Honestly, I could see it. I could see it. I don't hate that. Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda. Look, of all the things to reunite them in, that would be amazing. David Alan Grier or Paul Rodriguez as Stan. Honestly, I'm into all of these. I think these are great. These are great suggestions. These are great suggestions. But here's the thing: is like the way that I feel about most reboots is, do we need that? Do we really need the reboot? Like, One Day at a Time, I think they did a really good job. We were talking about that earlier. I think One Day at a Time, they did a really good job of modernizing in a way that was very different from the original, and it has a little bit of the DNA in common, but it really feels less like a reboot or a remake, and more like, like a cousin, like one of Jessica Fletcher's distant cousins, making it something unique and different. I think is the key, because I just saw the news that they're planning to do a reboot of Darkwing Duck, and I'm like, who's knocking down the path? Who's beating a path? That's it. Who's beating a path? Who's knocking down the door for a reboot of Darkwing Duck? For one thing, have we really watched Darkwing Duck that many times that recently that we can't just rewatch the original and be like, that was pretty good? Like, I feel like if they just showed us the original episodes and were like, here you go, here's a remake, we'd remember so little about the original that we'd be like, oh yeah, I guess those were new episodes. So anyway, I feel like, as is the case with so many things, a remake of Golden Girls doesn't need to happen. You just watch the episodes. Watch the episodes again, because they're very, very good. And, a few queer episodes of Golden Girls. If you've seen on my channel, I've done a video about the Isn't It Romantic is the title of the episode, with Jean, Dorothy's friend Jean, who comes to visit and turns out to be a lesbian with feelings of affection for Rose. Has the wonderful scene in the bedroom where Blanche, they've just told her that Jean is a lesbian, and Blanche is like, well, isn't Danny Thomas one? I don't know why I did that in a Carol Channing voice. I do know why I did that in a Carol Channing voice. It's because of Bill Fair, our friend Bill Fair, who does the podcast JudyCast. Wonderful, wonderful podcast, JudyCast. I recommend you all subscribe to. Has an episode once every 12 to 16 months. But he did an episode that was all great Broadway divas reenacting an episode of Golden Girls, and Carol Channing was Blanche. It's an amazing work of art. Anyway, well, isn't Danny Thomas one? Not Lebanese Blanche, lesbian. It's a very good episode. And then, of course, there's an episode about HIV, where Rose is worried that she has HIV. Handled okay for the time. I mean, the government wasn't talking about HIV, so sitcoms had to. So whatever, which is actually, that's something that I did want to talk about, is the videos one that I just put out, and one that I'm working on. If you didn't see, I put out a new video a week ago about the show Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Like I said, it was based in part on some research that I'd done on the Roseanne video a week before that. For my Culture Cruise videos, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of digging through archives, turn up a lot of weird old shows and weird old footage, like we were talking about the Cats smoking PSA earlier, and the Star Wars smoking PSA. So for this video, for the video that I did about the show Roseanne, I turned up this show Mary Hartman, which I'd been aware of, but I did a little bit more digging in on it. And they had a recurring gay couple that decided to get married on the show, which is really groundbreaking. So anyway, I did a whole video about that and who that couple was and why it was so groundbreaking that they were doing that when they did it. BT Dubs, if you want to know more about the development of gay marriage and what the situation was around gay marriage in the 1970s, check out my book, now available on Amazon, Defining Marriage. It's the personal stories of the folks who fought for marriage equality over the last 40 years. Anyway, so check out Defining Marriage now on Amazon. But also check out my video about Mary Hartman that I posted last week. And keep your eyes peeled. Make sure to subscribe with a little ding-ding bell icon to my YouTube videos, because I've got a video in the works, probably going to come out in the next few days, about Bob Newhart Show. We talked about this a little bit earlier. And the American Psychological Association deciding, oh, whoops, sorry, our mistake. Homosexuals are not mentally ill, at least not for being homosexual. We thought they were. We were wrong. Sorry. Whoops. All homosexual. That's what the American Psychological Association said. Hugh says, I'm here for the Darkwing Duck reboot. Okay, I mean, look, I feel like the stuff that fans make, like fan art of Darkwing Duck, I'm more interested than anything official Darkwing Duck. Especially if they do like gritty adult reboot of Darkwing Duck. I don't know. You know what though? The reboot of DuckTales, actually pretty good. So, I don't know. I proved myself wrong with that one. But I do think, like, with reboots, lightning so seldom strikes twice. I feel like there's like a 5% success rate on rebooting anything. Most of the time it's like, why? Why did you do this? Yeah, Deborah says, remake of Steel Magnolias didn't work. I wasn't even aware of that. Douglas Connor asked my thoughts on the remake. My thoughts are, don't do it, but too late, I guess. Courtney says, remake of Death Becomes Her with Kate Hudson, Anne Hathaway, Robert Downey Jr., and Lady Gaga. Is that real? Is that happening? Or is that just hypothetical? Because I feel like that's another one. Why? Yeah, Norman, I agree with you. It's rare that revivals work. Cobra Kai and Twin Peaks are the only ones at the top of my head. Okay, yeah, people did like the Twin Peaks. Not for me, Twin Peaks. Tried watching the original. Just did not stick with me. I don't know. Maybe it would work if I slowed down. If I was de-accelerated. Often I'm very like keyed up and wound up and anxious. That's just how I am. And I found myself just getting very impatient with original 80s Twin Peaks, with David Lynch Twin Peaks. I guess they're both David Lynch, right? Right? He did both of them, right? But I found myself getting very impatient and like, all right, can we move it along, please? And I didn't find it weird enough was the other problem. Maybe it gets weirder, but I watched the first episode or two. I think I watched the first two. I can't remember now. It just kind of like smeared together into a blur, and it wasn't strange enough. Like, I know it's got like this atmosphere that's just supposed to make you feel kind of unsettled, but I was like, can we move this along? Not like recently watching The Rescuers Down Under, to just completely change the topic to a very different style of entertainment. But, and this is connected to the Bob Newhart stuff that I was talking about earlier, because Bob Newhart is the voice of Bernard in The Rescuers. Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, those are movies that hold up. Don't need reboots, just watch them again. They are very good films. And The Rescuers Down Under, that is a movie that gets off to a fast start and does not slow down. The pace of that film, oh my goodness. James described it as the Disney storytelling economy of the 90s, where it doesn't do the meandering thing. Like, I feel like Moana, the movie Moana starts like 5 times in the first 45 minutes. She has her, like, I Wish song. She has her I'm Different song. She has her I'm Bored song. It's like the opening, they do like the opening song of 5 different Disney films over and over and over in that movie. And it's like, can we just start the adventure? Anyway, that's me getting very fussy about Moana, who, like, I don't know why, like, Moana has it coming. Time somebody took Moana down a peg. Anyway. It is a good film, though. I do like Moana. If you could just get past that opening 45 minutes or so. Yeah, Courtney Kelly says, "Hey APA, I'm mentally ill for many reasons, and homosexuality isn't one of them." Exactly, that's the thing. It's like I talk about this in the video that you're going to see in a few days. Labeling homosexuality as a mental illness, a big problem for a variety of reasons. The first of which is it's not. So you're wrong. Uh, Also, it gave license to not like literal license, but it gave permission to therapists, mental health professionals to treat homosexuality in these very bizarre ways that, obviously because it's not an illness, it doesn't need treatment. And so all the treatments are going to be unhealthy and wrong. But stuff like, I have another video on my channel about this from a couple of years ago. The weird ex-gay treatments that have been tried over the centuries. Stuff like electroshock therapy while surrounded by jars of urine. I have no idea why they thought that would work, like what the thinking was there. There was a doctor who was like, oh, you just need to ride more bicycles. Okay. Touch a horse. That was another one. Just touch a horse, pet a horse. That one's actually much more recent. There was like a camp. There's like an ex-gay camp where you just would like pet horses, and that was supposed to straighten you out. My favorite is implanting monkey testicles. This is a whole thing for a while where they would farm monkey testicles out on the French Riviera. Literally, this is true. There was like a monkey farm, and they would like extract the testicles. I don't know what would happen to the monkeys, but they would extract the testicles and implant them in people who wanted to be more masculine. And they may be on the right track with hormones being responsible for behavioral changes, but not the right way. Not the right way to go about it. It didn't work, by the way. That it didn't successfully make queer people heterosexual. Anyway, so there were all these bizarre treatments because they thought homosexuality was a disease, and it wasn't, but they thought it was. So in I go into this more in the video that you can keep your eyes out for. Early 70s, there were these groups that were like, could you not? Could you maybe not? And on their own, these groups weren't able to do very much, but then they started working together, and that's when the magic happened. Oh, Norman is correct, though. They were much slower on transgender and gender identity. Listen to DSM for decades, including in this century. Yep. Yeah, that is true. Still some progress to be made there. But when you think about like the progress that's been made over the last, just over my lifetime, for example, and here's another problem. This is another reason why it was a problem to list homosexuality and gender dysphoria and like to treat them in the ways that they were in the past, is because it gave the public, lay people, not uneducated, but people who were not, trained mental health experts, it kind of just gave them permission to look down on queer people. I like vividly remember when I was a kid, every so often there'd be like some salacious news story about a crime involving a man dressed as a woman. And like today it would be like, oh, you're talking about a trans person. It's not a man dressed as a woman at all. It's a man. And that they are trans has no bearing on this very salacious news story. But like just the way that the news would treat trans people was just appalling. As I remember this from my youth in the 80s, in the 1980s, millions of years ago. So yeah, like labeling things as mental illness was a huge problem, and there was this really fascinating partnership that sometimes was an accidental partnership that nobody even realized was happening, that got the APA to delist. Richard Nixon is tangentially involved, very tangentially, but there'll be a little Richard Nixon in my upcoming video, so look out for that. Not like that's a real tempting thing, like, oh, at last, I'll get to see a video with Richard Nixon. I just think Richard Nixon is very funny, which I can say with the safety of being many years removed from the worst harm that he did, and he is dead. So we don't have to fear Richard Nixon anymore. I find Nixon very funny because, like, when I think of him on Futurama. And also, my dad was in the 1970s, he was doing anthropological research in Russia. This is a weird story, but my dad was doing anthropological research involving chimps. And growing up, he had these slides. Back when we had the slides, there were these little, like, how do I describe slides for somebody who's not aware of what slides are? They're these little pieces of cardboard with a transparent window that had a little transparent picture on in the window in the cardboard, and you'd put it into a slide projector, and a light would shine through it and blow it up big like a movie screen. Does that make sense? Does that explain what a slide is? I feel like I have to explain that for the youngsters. Anyway, so my dad had all these books of slides of different chimp dentition, like to show chimp teeth. I can't remember why they were studying this. They're studying chimp teeth. Oh, it was about evolution. He was doing some like evolutionary science stuff, and looking at chimp teeth was one way to do that. So he had all these slides of chimp teeth, and he had a picture of this chimp that just looked very much like Richard Nixon, and it was labeled Nixon's chimp. And so growing up, that's how I learned who Richard Nixon was, from this slide of a chimp labeled Nixon's chimp. So that's why I think Richard Nixon is funny. Anyway, you are correct. Hank Morgan, didn't Richard Nixon appear on A Sock It To Me? He did. Yes, he did. How dare you predict what I am including in my video? How dare you know so much about what I think is extremely funny about Richard Nixon? But yes, Richard Nixon was on the show Laugh-In, which was I mean, I hate to say it, not actually very funny show from, when was Laugh-In? Early 70s, I want to say? I think that was post 60s. Hey Siri, when was Laugh-In on? Hey Siri, when was Laugh-In on?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
That sentence does not make sense to her. Okay, shush. Anyway, here's the thing. Laugh-In, weird, subversive anti-comedy that feels a little like Adult Swim, but not actually that funny, like even by Adult Swim standards. So anyway, Richard Nixon was on Laugh-In at some point, and I find it very, very funny that happened. So anyway. Oh, Grady found the ex-gay therapist on CNN on YouTube who uses a tennis racket spanking. Who is that? That was Bruce Cohen was his name. Can't believe I remember that guy's name. Yeah, who's like, oh, you can cure your homosexuality by beating this pile of pillows with a tennis racket and screaming about your mother. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. That guy was not correct about his theories. Again, like, I was challenged to find a polite way to talk about him. Incorrect is probably the nicest thing you can say. Anyway, gosh. I was about to say poor Richard Cohen, but no, not poor him. He did a lot of harm. Anyway, yeah, you can find like all these weird, and hugging therapy. He was like, oh, gay men just need to like lie on a couch and hug each other really tight, and then they won't be gay anymore. Sure, Jan. Sure. Courtney Kelly says, Laugh-In did create the career of Lily Tomlin. Kind of. For that, I actually credit, oh, goodness gracious. I can't believe I've forgotten her name. I was about to say Gina Gershon. Gina Gershon did not create Lily Tomlin's career. Madeline. Gosh. Madeline Kahn. Surely you can see how I confuse those two. Gina Gershon and Madeline Kahn. Kind of similar names. Anyway, Madeline Kahn was friends with Lily Tomlin when they were waitresses together. And, this job opened up at a venue. I want to say it was like a dinner theater thing. Madeline Kahn recommended Lily Tomlin for the role, and that's what got Lily Tomlin's showbiz career off and running. I have a video about Madeline Kahn that you should check out on my channel as well, if you have not already, about Madeline Kahn's friendship with this experimental gay theater artist, actor, director, writer. He was a million different things. Charles, now I want to get his name right. It wasn't Charles Bush. It was Charles Ludlam. There were a lot of, for some reason, a lot of gay Charleses, including Charles Nelson Riley on The X-Files. Of all his roles. That was not Charles Nelson Riley's most prominent role as Jose Chung on The X-Files. Anyway, Charles Ludlam, a gay theater experimenter, scientist, a gay theater scientist in New York in the, 60s, 70s, 80s, did some amazing work. All of it very, very strange. And he was friends with Madeline Kahn. And so she brought him onto one of her sitcom projects. She had a sitcom called Oh, Madeline in I want to say like 87 or so, maybe 86, 87. And the sitcom wasn't doing well. It just wasn't a very good show. They could tell it wasn't going to last longer than a season. And so she was like, okay, look, if we're going to get canceled, let's do something fun. And so she got her New York theater friend, Charles Ludlam, to come on the show in drag as a romance novelist for this actually very funny role. That was much better than what Oh, Madeline, the sitcom, deserved. You can also see Charles Ludlam on 21 Jump Street, I believe, on an episode, weirdly, with Penn Jillette, who was it 21 Jump Street? It wasn't. It was Miami Vice. Anyway, you can see them on Miami Vice. And it's a very weird scene with Penn Jillette and Charles Ludlam, experimental theater guy. It's like, what are you two doing together? Grady says, my late grandma, Ingeborg, oh, what a great name, was a massive Laugh-In fan. Got to meet Goldie Hawn in 79 when they trick-or-treated at my house while filming Foul Play. What a story, Grady. What? Wait. So Goldie Hawn trick-or-treated at your grandmother's house? But as an adult? Was Goldie Hawn just going around as a grown-up trick-or-treating? And what was her costume? I have to know more about this. Ross Bristow says, have you seen Hook? Of course. Yes, I have seen Hook, or as I call it, Bad Dad. Tom Jenkins says, I've hugged plenty of men and I'm gayer than ever. Oh, that's fantastic. What a great response to that ex-gay science. Oh, Courtney Kelly says, Matt, I got you the interview with Bill Madison. Of course. You know all of this, Courtney. You are far more of a Madeline expert than I will ever be. I've got your book. It's just behind me on the bookshelf. That's too dark to see back here. But I've got Becoming Madeline right there on the bookshelf. There it is. Anyway, so Courtney Kelly, I have you to thank for teaching me so much about Madeline Kahn. Ross says, was Cary Grant and James Dean gay? Probably. Probably. So speaking of Laugh-In, I got to meet Joanne Worley at one point. She was another of the Laugh-In folks. Here's what I'll say about Laugh-In. It did give us some very funny jokes. But you know what though? I can't even explain why they're funny. I can't explain why they're funny. I think they're only funny because there were things that my parents said to me and I thought that they were supposed to be funny as a child, and I just like internalized them in my head as this must be what a joke is. Like just repeating, singing over and over, here come the judge, here come the judge, here come the judge. That's not funny. Why is that funny? That's not a joke. Or like turning to the camera and saying in a surprised voice, sock it to me. Also not that funny. But as I'm saying this, I think that a lot of that comedy evolved into the show You Can't Do That on Television, which also kind of shaped, I think, a lot of comedy sensibility of kids of a certain age in the 1980s. Because they had a similar vibe. So Laugh-In had this joke where people would there was a wall of doors, and people would open a door and say some non sequitur and then close it, and that was supposed to be funny. It wasn't. And You Can't Do That on Television did the same thing with lockers. So I guess I never really thought about this. You Can't Do That on Television really was an outgrowth of Laugh-In.
It is Laugh-In.
You're right. It's Laugh-In for kids. Yeah. That never occurred to me, but it's so clearly just a kid ripoff. And like the dumping of slime and water on people. There was I forget her name, but there's one character on Laugh-In who would always get like dunked in things. Anyway. Yes. Oh, Courtney Kelly. That's my favorite quote in the book. Madeline Kahn saying, I thought this would be like a cruise to the Bahamas. Instead, I'm on a banana boat to Nicaragua. Yeah. Yeah, in tears in a cat costume. It's a shame. It's a shame that sitcom, that Oh Madeline, the sitcom, which if you haven't watched my video about it, watch my video about it. It's a shame that Oh Madeline, the sitcom was not better than what it was. Because Madeline is so talented and so funny, and she takes her work so seriously. Like, Courtney, you know all this. She was such a serious professional actress. And she would work so hard on putting on a good show. It's not an accident that we love her as much. I feel like I can safely say collectively we love her as much as we do in Clue and Paper Moon and Happy Birthday Gemini, one of her much lesser known roles. Of course, Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. You can't not adore Madeline Kahn. And to put her on this sitcom where she's just criminally underused, and they're like, basically the sitcom scheme was, hey, Madeline, just do a Lucille Ball impression. That'll be good enough. And that's kind of what she's doing, like wacky and she was a redhead, right? They made her a redhead for this show. Just pull some wacky schemes and do physical comedy, which physical comedy, I don't feel like Madeline was playing to her strengths. Sadly. Anyway, that's my review of a sitcom that lasted less than a season in the mid 1980s. The world was beating a path to my door as hard as they're beating a path to the door of Darkwing Duck reboot. Deborah says, I would love to see a movie about Charles Nelson Riley or Paul Lynde. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I would love that so much. Yeah. So Charles Nelson Riley's been on my mind, in part because I always think about people named Charles, but also because with Alex Trebek passing away, I was thinking about, there's an episode of The X-Files that Alex Trebek is extremely briefly on. It's my favorite episode. Jose Chung's From Outer Space is the title of the episode. And it's only a good episode if you've already watched a lot of X-Files, because it's basically an episode making fun of the show's tropes and how overdone so many things on the show were. It's a brilliantly made, brilliantly written episode. And Alex Trebek is briefly on it, as is Charles Nelson Riley. So Charles Nelson Riley, if you're not familiar, was an actor and more famous, I think, now for doing talk show or game shows. So he's like a game show panelist, like perennial game show panelist. He was like on like every single episode of Match Game. I want to say, I don't think he was on Hollywood Squares. I think that was just Paul Lynde. Anyway, he had a career that was very similar to Paul Lynde, where he started on Broadway and moved into TV and did a lot of game shows. Gay and kind of closeted, but like it was like, what is the point of even being closeted? Because he was so flamboyant and just like having the time of his life, just having a ball. And this is where I feel like he diverges from Paul Lynde, who seems like kind of angry and resentful in a lot of his appearances, particularly in Hollywood Squares. I feel like Charles Nelson Riley really does seem like he's having just a great time. He also played Uncle Croc on the show Uncle Croc's Block. It's a kid's show from the 70s that was not expensively made, but it was wacky and dumb, and I want to say Witchy Poo. Was Witchy Poo on Uncle Croc's Block, James?
I don't think so.
There was a witch on that show.
There was a witch, but it wasn't Witchy Poo.
Okay, wasn't Witchy Poo. Witchy Poo, I think I'm confusing again Charles Nelson Riley and Paul Lynde, because Witchy Poo does appear on the Paul Lynde Halloween special, along with Florence Henderson, Donnie Marie Osmond, Betty White, Margaret Hamilton, and Kiss. It is why can I recite instantly from memory the cast of the Paul Lynde Halloween special? I can't remember the names of my own family members. I couldn't tell you my own age. Often I have to do math and count backwards to remember how old I am. But I can tell you instantly who is on the Paul Lynde Halloween special. Anyway. Grady saying to Caspian Dean, when this is over, go, oh, have you not seen Blazing Saddles? I love that streams always make me feel so uncultured. It's rare that I ever know what the heck you're talking about. Still love you, though. You should watch Blazing Saddles if you have not seen that. Blazing Saddles is a fantastic Western comedy made by Mel Brooks. It was one of the things that really put Mel Brooks on the map as like a filmmaker. It was, for one thing, it was cheap. So studios like that, but it was also a big commercial hit. And so Blazing Saddles really cleared a path for Mel Brooks to keep making lots more movies and gave him a lot more freedom to make more. I think he definitely had already made a couple of films at that point, but, the producers, of course. Yeah. That was his first big hit. Just cackling to me. Thank you. Charles Nelson Riley did do a few episodes of Hollywood Squares. That's good. Oh my goodness. Ross Bristow, what is bringing that up? Yes, okay, yes. So I hesitate to even talk about it. There was a bad idea. There was a bad idea to make a sitcom about someone who is not admired in history, and wasn't a good idea to make a sitcom about them. This historical figure. You can find it, I believe, on YouTube. And if you are a scholar of media, it's worth a watch. but it is, I think, too distasteful to even mention by name. It is, yes, Alexi, it is real. It is real. What I do recommend, similar but not to be confused, kind of recommend with caveats, is a sitcom from the 90s called Hi, Honey, I'm Home. It is actually kind of fun. I don't think it's great. Like, I don't think it's like one of those things that you're going to become a diehard fan of. But it was this weird idea of like, what if we made, it has a very catchy theme song too, which, often that's the only thing to recommend about a sitcom. So Hi, Honey, I'm Home. The idea was a sitcom family from the 50s was canceled in syndication and then relocated to modern day, modern meaning the 90s, to live in a modern 90s neighborhood. So it was this kind of fish out of water thing of a 50s family, 50s TV family who lived in black and white and has like the wife, the housewife with the pearl necklace when she does like chores around the house and the perfect hair and the checkered apron, and the daughter in the poodle skirt and the boy with bobby socks. No, bobby socks was a girl thing, right? The boy had, what are those shoes called? Spats? No. Anyway, doesn't matter. So it's this goofy fish out of water postmodern sitcom thing. It's part of the weird nostalgia of the late 80s, early 90s for the 1950s, which now that I think about it, if they were to make that show again today, it would probably be set in the 90s. Anyway, Hi, Honey, I'm Home. Great theme song, funny premise, some good wacky physical comedy. Not the best. Not the best writing. Emily recommends Young Frankenstein or Frankenstein. Don't forget Madeline Kahn being on The Muppet Show. Oh, Steve, you're right. Oh, Madeline Kahn. I mean, there are some performers who are just made to hang out with the Muppets. Madeline Kahn, absolutely. Vincent Price, amazing. Like, they're actors who just, you see their eyes go right to they make the eye contact with the Muppets. They're goofing along with them. They're having a great time. They're just, like, there with them. Madeline Kahn, another one, like just so lovely. Beverly Sills, unexpectedly, like she's not somebody that we talk about a lot today. Beverly Sills was an opera singer in the 1970s and beyond, and just having a great time. I can't believe I always forget her name. Not Bernadette Peters. That's the other person whose name I always forget. James, who played Rosanna Dana? Gene Wilder's wife. What's her name?
Oh yeah.
Glimba Heckstone. It's Murray Blurpa.
You were closer with
Glenda, Gilda Radner. Gilda Radner on The Muppet Show. Amazing. Just absolutely fantastic. Florence Henderson doesn't really seem to know what the joke is. Doesn't quite get it. But yeah, anyway. Oh gosh, in the Muppet movie. Yes. Madeline Kahn in the Muppet movie. It's a myth. Yeah. No. She's the other one. She's that's Carol Kane in the Muppet movie. Which again, another recommendation for you all. If you haven't seen the Muppet movie, go watch the Muppet movie. The first one, the original, not the new one. Madeline Kahn is she's there at a bar and she turns to Kermit and she says, "Buy me a drink, sailor." It's just so funny. It doesn't sound funny when I do it because I'm not as funny as Madeline Kahn. Yeah, Courtney says, I would be the boy in Bobby Socks. Good. Yes. Everybody, it's a good day for Bobby Socks. Yes. Okay. So I do think Jojo Rabbit is a good example. Now, I haven't seen it, so I can't talk that expertly about it or really with any information at all. But I do think there's a way to turn comedy out of that subject intelligently. I think Mel Brooks did the same thing with the producers. But that sitcom did not. Oh, and Liza Minnelli, Courtney, you're absolutely right. Liza doing a full song and dance routine with the Muppets to Copacabana. Oh my gosh. And Rita Moreno, speaking of Rita Moreno. Wait, was it Rita Moreno who's on the Muppet Show who won an Emmy? Hold on, now I gotta look that up. Muppet Show, Rita Moreno. I can't believe Rita Moreno keeps coming up. Yes, oh my god. So Rita Moreno, you gotta look this up when this stream is over. Don't stop watching me because that's good for my analytics. But when this stream is over, go look up Rita Moreno on the Muppet Show. It is so good. Like, she's a eighth wonder of the world, Rita Moreno. She sings Fever with Animal playing the drums. It is just absolutely, it's just gold. It's one of those TV moments that's just magic. Caspian says, I have probably seen half the things you talk about paying attention and remembering. My little pea brain rattling around, removing all memories that aren't random ant facts. Wait, ant facts? Are you an ant expert? Do you study ants, Caspian? Because that's fascinating. I want to know more about that. Ross says, I love Carol Kane in The Addams Family. Yes. Oh, that's another actress, Carol Kane. Like, just everything she does is so good. Like, whether she's playing Lillian on, I almost called it Leave It to Kimmy Schmidt. Whether she's playing Lillian on, what is it, Unsinkable Kimmy Schmidt? Unthinkable Kimmy Schmidt? Whatever it is. Unflappable. She's great on that. She's great with some pathos on Gotham. She's great, obviously, on Taxi. She's great in those 10-10-2-20 commercials from the early 1990s. She's great. Oh my goodness, Oddworld, you're right. Happy Birthday Gemini has Rita Moreno. Why do we keep bringing up Rita Moreno? I mean, why not? Rita Moreno should be a part of every conversation. I absolutely, like, you know, the more I think about this, the more I think that Rita Moreno should be the anchor, the cornerstone of any Golden Girls reboot. If it has to happen, and it doesn't, but if it has to happen. Joan Cusack was hilarious in Addams Family. How old is Joan Cusack? Is Joan Cusack old enough to be on a Golden Girl? I feel terrible asking that. Joan Cusack age. 58. 58. James, what do you think about Joan Cusack as Rose?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works great. We'd love to see it. Grady says Rita Moreno on Sesame Street too. It's magical. I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen her on that, but I mean, I can just imagine it's fantastic. Dirty Uncle Owen is here. Hello. Let me know. Thanks, YouTube notification. Did the notifications work or not? Because they definitely worked for some people who joined, but perhaps not for you. Which is just one of those unpredictable, weird things. Have you seen the video going around asking if two boys are gay or smoking? I'm not sure I have seen that. I don't think I've seen that. And Rita was on the Electric Company. Well, I mean, she was just on everything, wasn't she? Unbreakable. Thank you, Courtney. That's what it was. I knew I was getting that wrong. I was thinking of the Unsinkable Molly Brown with, oh goodness, with, who's an Unsinkable Molly Brown? I want to say Deborah Messing's mother. What? James is once again laughing at me. Who was in that film? It was Debbie Reynolds. I was right. Grady says, I love the Electric...
Deborah Messing's mother.
She absolutely was Deborah Messing's mother on Will and Grace.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if you all could hear James's, oh, Jesus, off camera. But yes, James,
Yeah.
TV shows are real life.
Okay.
So when I say Deborah Messing's mother, obviously what I mean is her mother on television. He's brushing his teeth. I can just hear him going like, uh-huh. Ross Bristow says, I wish John Candy could have done more serious roles. I can't think of a single serious role that John Candy did. James, can you? Delirious? I don't think that was serious. Who's Harry Crumb? Who's Harry Crumb? A great dramatic film. It's the Steel Magnolias of its time.
Oh, Only the Lonely. He's good in that.
Only the Lonely. Okay, I don't know that one at all. I'm unfamiliar. Oh gosh, you know, Mr. T is correct. Betty White's still alive, so they could absolutely put Betty White on a reboot of The Golden Girls. Grady says, I did not get my notification. Womp womp. I don't know what the deal is. So, I mean, for one thing, I think YouTube does really want you to hit the bell subscribe. So there's two different kinds of subscribes. If you're not already subscribed with the bell, you got to hit the bell for whatever reason. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, so if you're not getting the notifications, first thing to try is making sure you're bell subscribed, not regular subscribed. I love how many people in the chat are just instantly like, Debbie Reynolds. And Jesse says you should watch the videos of this little boy dancing a little mix. It's adorable. Okay, send me the link. Send me whenever you have recommendations. Send them to me on Twitter. Message, either DM me or just like at me on Twitter. I love to get messages. I love to get recommendations. I love to watch stuff that people suggest to me. That's how I discover a lot of things. So I definitely appreciate it. Ross Brewster says JFK? Is John Candy in JFK? What? What? Really? Okay. I mean, I guess
John F. Candy.
he's James off camera says John F. Candy with a K. And the speech in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's been a long time since I watched that. I always confuse Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Rat Race. Two different films. Not very different. Like kind of the same idea, just made like 20 years apart. A lot of enthusiasm in the chat right now for Postcards from the Edge. Yes, absolutely. That is another film like behind the scenes and in front of the camera, below the line and above the line. Everyone in just perfect roles, perfect casting. Everyone exactly where they should be. Postcards from the Edge, if you're not familiar, based on Carrie Fisher's book about growing up as Debbie Reynolds' kid, dramatized with. Gosh, I don't know what's going on with my brain today. I want to say Glenn Close, but it's not Glenn Close. It's the lady from Mamma Mia. And Death Becomes Her, which we talked about earlier. Now the name that's taken its place in my brain is Coco Peru. Also incorrect. It is not Coco Peru. It is from Kramer versus Kramer. Oh, shoot. What's her name? Muba Fuba. James, what's her name? She's got long hair. Long hair. Wait, I don't want to look at the chat. I don't want to give it away. The woman who is good in everything. She has a starring role in the gif of her shouting at the stage at the Oscars. She's in Mamma Mia with not Cher. Not Christine Baranski. She's in The Devil Wears Prada. I don't got it. All I've got is Glenn Close and Coco Peru. Morbium Flamby. James, I need a hint.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's the woman in The Devil Wears Prada and Kramer versus Kramer and Mamma Mia and Death Becomes Her?
What's her name?
Give me a hint. Molly Blurg.
The first name does start with M.
Okay. First name starts with M, but it's not Molly Blurg.
It's not Molly Blur.
Marissa Tomei.
Not Marissa.
It's not Marissa Tomei, although I could see her on a reboot of The Golden Girls. Maury Povich. Nope. Not a woman. Marissa. Nope. Mary Hartman.
It's not Mary Hartman.
Melanie Brooks.
It's not her.
But I feel like this is progress. I'm at least saying human names. Malia. Nope. Malia.
No.
She's Barack Obama's daughter. In a role that will surprise you. Men Close. Nope. I tried to do Glenn Close, but with an M. Men Close. Oh, that sounds great. That sounds like fun. I'd love some Men Close. Me first. No. Mulch Pile? No. No, the famous actress Mulch Pile. Is that a good drag name? James, give me another hint. I need more than just it starts with an M. Moby Dick? What? Yawning? Is that a hint? Tired? Yawn. Mon Finley. Nope. Maunderlust. Sleepy? Sleepy.
You're closer.
I'm closer with Sleepy?
A little bit.
Meeps Morps?
It's not meat more.
Meepy? Mila Jovovich. Monster Hunter. Sleep. Meryl Streep.
I shouldn't have said.
Meryl Sleepy. Okay. Okay, now I can go back and look at the chat. There's so many people typing Meryl Streep. Oh, there's so many people making... Oh, so many people trying to get me to say Meryl Streep. But I can't look at the chat when I have one of those because it'll just give it away. I have to get there on my own or else I'll never learn. He's laughing at me again. Mel, it's definitely Mel Brooks. It's definitely Men Close. Courtney liked Men Close. New drag name, Men Close. The chat is just that one scene from Airplane where everyone is face palming. Oh no. Oh, think of Bette Midler saying, nobody talks of that moves anymore. Nobody except Meryl. Yes. Men Close is a brilliant drag name. Everyone wants Men Close as a drag name. You can all have it. It's my gift to you. It's my gift to the world. Elise says, oh, her last name is the Dutch word for dash. Huh. Streep means dash, huh? Interesting. Oh, Time Traveling Waffle says, Mulch Pile, starring Mama Lifa. Caspian says, that was a roller coaster. Yes. Monster Hunter. I will say, very excited for Monster Hunter. Mila Jovovich Monster Hunter. We'll see what this movie is. I've been playing, this is a good time for me to talk about this actually. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter with James lately. So we're going on these wonderful big gay adventures, me and James, because it's multiplayer, and we've been streaming it. So you can watch me and James, the gay couple hunting monsters in the wild over on Twitch. What we've been doing is streaming on James's channel, which is twitch.tv/prettyprettypixel. But we're going to start streaming on my channel soon, twitch.tv/Matt Baume. It's just the same username I have everywhere. So go over to Twitch and subscribe to twitch.tv/Matt Baume and become a member there. And the link is in the description of this video, in fact, but I will put it in the chat as well. Twitch.tv/Matt Baume. Me on Twitch. What was I saying? Yeah, so go over and subscribe to me over there. We're going to start streaming soon. And we'll be playing some Monster Hunter because I really enjoy playing Monster Hunter with James. Just unlocked a whole bunch of new stuff in the game. And James knows it very well, and it's all new to me. So he's been helping me get acquainted with it and learning new skills and new things to do. It was a little frustrating for me because I like routine, and I got into a bit of a groove with my character. I'm like, I know how to play, I know how to do the combos, I know what buttons to click, and now there's new stuff, which, change sometimes freaks me out a little bit. But now I'm getting excited for it. I'm getting excited for doing the new stuff. I've got a grappling thing. It's not a hook shot. What is it called, James? The clutch claw. I can clutch monsters. So come watch me clutch monsters over on Twitch. Anyway, I bring that up because Mila Jovovich is about to be in a Monster Hunter movie.
What about your video?
And what about my video? I also have a Monster Hunter video that just went up yesterday. If you'd like to see, this is a video that I made with a stranger here in Seattle. So one of the aspects of Monster Hunter, the game, that I love is the food. Every time you go on a mission, you have to go to the canteen and you get some food, and it's beautiful. Like, the game went so much harder than it had to on making this food look gorgeous. So I did a video where I examined the beautiful food in the game, and then I tried to make some of it in real life, and it went okay. Some of it came out very tasty. Others may have loosened teeth and given me dental problems. So you can see that video. I tweeted about it. If you go to my Twitter, you can see a link to it. If you go to The Stranger, which is our alt weekly here in Seattle, which is thestranger.com, you can see my video. Or if you just look for, I don't know, probably finding me on Twitter is the best way. I was about to say if you look for Monster Hunter food on YouTube, you find it, but probably not, because there's a lot of Monster Hunter food on Twitter. I mean, on YouTube. Salco says, can confirm that the Twitch streams are Chef's Kiss. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're watching. Are you Salco on Twitch, or are you a different name? There's so many names to keep track of. Caspian says, as a non-binary person, I think it'd be great if I changed my name to Mulch Pile. I mean, I do kind of love that. I love that as like a stage name, or I've chosen my own identity name. Great. Honestly, Grady Boyle says gay couple hunting monsters in the wild TV show or Saturday Night at the Eagle. Why not both? Actually, Monster Hunter is like a themed night at a gay bar. I'm into that. I'm into like it's a monster night. I don't know what that would be. Like come dressed as a monster. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like as a theme night, you could find some fun things to do with monster hunting. James says Monster Humper. Oh, speaking of monsters, you can't see it, but the bird. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? There's the Stellar's Jay is outside. He's mad at me because I don't have any peanuts on the balcony right now. Yeah, and also I've been digging in the planters where he's been burying the peanuts. Yeah, he's digging up my planters now. Bad bird. So I put peanuts out for the birds, and they oh, and the crow is here. There's quite the menagerie going on outside. Anyway, what was I saying? Dr. Peanut. Steve says, Matt, tell us who Gwen Verdon is. I dare you. Gwen Verdon. Now, I want to say, I could be wrong about this. Is she the one in The Rich Man's Frug who does the wild arm stuff? Like this? You know, she does this. You remember this great moment of cinema history? No, she's Gwen Verdon. She's the dancer from Sweet Charity, right?
She was in Sweet Charity.
Yes. And she has like this incredible ponytail. It's beautiful. Like she's doing this hairography that like she's got these long white princess gloves, which by the way, I adore a princess glove. When I go out, I've been jogging lately. When I go out jogging to keep my hands warm, I have these like fingerless gloves, but they go all the way down my arm, and it feels so good because I have like sensory issues around having like this little band of my wrist exposed. I can't have this little band of my wrist exposed, so I have to have princess gloves that go all the way down. Gwen Verdon wears princess gloves in Sweet Charity, and she does this amazing dance where she's doing all this stuff with her arms. It's a Bob Fosse number, and then she has this ponytail, and she's swinging the ponytail around. Art. High art. High art. Salco says, are you sure that you like the food or the cat biceps? Look, again, why not both? I like the food. I like the sexy, muscular chef who flexes for you in the game. It's a real thrill. I might also be doing this is just something I'm experimenting with. I might start doing some VR chat. So this is something that was just brought to my attention by some furry friends. Furries are going crazy with VR chat these days. I don't know if you saw. I wrote about this a couple of days ago. Furries, this furry VR chat artist, recreated the Four Seasons Total Landscaping parking lot in virtual reality. So you can go walk around in virtual reality this parking lot where they had the hilarious press conference. He also recreated the exterior of the dildo store next door. And so in looking into this, I was like, oh, this actually looks like fun. All these furries like hanging out in their personas and just like having a good time, joking around in virtual reality. You don't actually need a VR helmet to wear it. You could just like do it on your computer monitor. It actually looks like a lot of fun. So I might get myself a rabbit avatar and start bumbling around in VR chat on my Twitch stream. Because I've been, like we all are feeling right now, a little frustrated and a little lonely and a little like just isolated with all the quarantine that's been going on. And VR chat actually seems like a nice way to have in-person time without it actually being in-person time. Oh, you're Saucoma on Twitch. Okay. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Oh no, Mr. T says, this is a fun stream. I found out yesterday I tested positive for COVID. I could use some good vibes. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you have a speedy recovery. I hope you feel good soon. Get lots of sleep, get lots of soup. And yeah, take your temperature so you know how you're doing and all that stuff. But we will be thinking of you and hoping that you have the healthiest of healthy vibes. Oh, El Lopez has asked me to do that's a good idea. The Seinfeld episode where Elaine tries to change a homosexual man. Honestly, I would like to do that one. I think that might be the next one I do. I'd forgotten that episode exists. It is actually quite funny. I don't know if there's enough gay content in there. I think there is. For me to talk about. I think it is a B plot, but it's Seinfeld had enough of like their B plots were beefy enough that there was a lot of them. So that might be a good next one for me to do. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Courtney says, feed me, servant. The birds probably. Yeah, I mean, they certainly have me trained. When they come out there, when they go out there and they see that the peanuts are empty and they just scream at me until I put them out. Yeah. David, yes, you're correct. They're opera-length jogging gloves. That is, I mean, like the long, that like going all the way up the arm. Because I can't stand like that feeling when you're just wearing normal gloves of the little space. There's two things that I hate about normal gloves. The little space right here that isn't between the glove and your jacket or whatever, that you can feel the cold of the air. Like it just, it literally makes me so uncomfortable. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. And the other thing that's uncomfortable is feeling the edge of the glove. Like I don't even like to touch my wrist right now because I'm thinking about it. Feeling the edge of the glove on my wrist right here. Very unpleasant. I don't know what that's about. Like I don't like things touching my wrist. I don't know. So the solution to that is I got nice soft gloves, cut the fingers off and sewed the fingers back so I had fingers exposed so I could actually use my phone with these gloves on. And then I got fleece and I sewed just a fleece collar going all the way down the bottom of the gloves. My Franken gloves. Anyway, that's my recommendation for cold winter wear. I'm going to go do like a little, speaking of Twitch, pop in over to see if Arson is streaming, because she usually comes on around now. We might toss it on over to her to see how Arson's feeling. Let's see, twitch.tv/ArsonNicky. I always put an extra N in there. There we go. So she is offline at the moment, but I believe she is scheduled. Yeah, so she should be starting any minute now. ArsonNicky on Twitter. Just checking her Twitter to see what she is up to. And in the meantime, if you have not already, don't forget to hit subscribe on the channel. Hit subscribe with that bell so you always get the notifications. Remember to check out the video that I posted just last week about Mary Hartman. And of course, thanks to everyone who supports these streams over on Patreon. You make these streams possible with your Patreon support, and Patreon backers get little extra rewards. All right, anyway, so Arson's probably going to be going live soon, so we'll just hang out for a little bit and toss it on over to her once she goes live. Yeah, and Mr. T is a lot of healthy wishes for Mr. T. I do hope that you have folks around you who can take care of you and bring you soup and keep you bundled up and or I don't know, ventilated. I don't know what you need, but keep you comfortable. Emily recommends screen-sensitive thread on gloves. That could work too. Actually, that's probably a better solution. I'm thinking about it now, because like even sewing, like pulling back the what do you call it? The material, the fabric, the knit to keep the fingers exposed. It still unravels quite a bit. So they do look like a little ragamuffin. So that screen-sensitive thread might be a better solution. Yes. I'll consider that for my next trick. Anyway, and also, of course, keep your eyes out for, I've got a video in the works about Bob Newhart and the APA, so that's going to be coming out very soon, and Patreon backers get to see a lot of my videos early and ad-free, so, that's another little Patreon bonus to look forward to. But I do like that idea. Whose idea was it? I got to remember L. Lopez. I want to write that down. That Seinfeld episode where Elaine is trying to convert a gay man. That actually, it follows kind of nicely from the Newhart one that I'm working on now. Because, they're both about like treating homosexuality as something undesirable or something that can be changed or something that can be manipulated intentionally, which, of course, it cannot. So that Seinfeld episode, I'm going to have to check that one. I'm going to have to look at it because it's been a while since I've seen it. But I think there might be some good things to talk about in there. Okay, and it looks like Arson has, in fact, just gone live. So we're going to bump it on over to her. I'm going to put a link in the chat to Arson. Arson is at twitch.tv. If I can type this correctly. Twitch.tv/ArsonNicky. All right, there she is. Looks like she's playing Words with friends or words on stream? Words on stream. So let's go over Seinfeld, just making a note. Let's all head on over to Arson, say our hellos, and hang out with Arson over there. And, of course, remember to give me a follow over on Twitch as well if you're in the mood for that kind of thing. All right, thanks so much to everybody who joined for this. Thanks to everybody who had little chats, little chat, I forget what they're called, chat tokens, chat tips, chat tokens, whatever they are. To Bumble Homestead, thank you so much for the rainbow. To CogPP, thank you so much for the tip or whatever it is. And thanks, of course, to everyone who joined and liked and subscribed and whose support makes it possible for me to do all this stuff week after week after week. And I will see you again very soon. Next chat coming in, I think I have scheduled for 2 weeks from now, so I'll see you once again for that. All right, everybody, have a lovely Saturday, and farewell.